Hello again, it's Lock Noob, and today we're going to look at these cross-key lockpicks. In fact, they're sort of like Jiggler keys, a type of lockpick which acts as a rake and a key at the same time. So you'd put them into the lock, you'd jiggle them back and forth, rake them back and forth, and hopefully get the locks open. For those of you who aren't necessarily aware, this is a cross-key lock. You can see on this clear version that there are 4 pin chambers radially spaced equally around the lock in all 4, can we say cardinal directions? I'm not sure. And normally the keys, although this one doesn't, have a little notch on to say where the top is, because if you notice, you have to get the key aligned properly. There's a thicker part in the keyway and 4 thinner parts. You've got to get therefore the thickest part of the key, which I believe is this part, aligned to the wider opening on the keyway. Pop that in, and then you can see that the tops of the key pins here as they rotate around inside the lock. So these Jiggler keys are basically split so that the 4 sides are sprung. This allows the Jiggler key itself to bounce underneath, well, presumably any set pins, so it can rake any remaining unset pins until they're all set, and then we can open the lock. Now, these have been around for, at least 10 years, and I've always been curious about them. Didn't hold any hope out for them really, but I finally spent a couple of pounds because I bought these from AliExpress, not a sponsor. Just out of curiosity really. I'd never had a particular need for them, but I was always like, one day I'll take a look, why not? So what do you get for your couple of pounds? And by a couple of pounds I mean you can get these under $5, under £4 if you look. They're often cheaper. I imagine you can get them more expensive. Shop around as always. Just as I bought them off AliExpress doesn't mean that you have to. But yeah, you get 5 of these Jiggler keys, some of which are very, very slim for very small keyways, and some of which are slightly bigger for the wider keyways, as you can see here. So there are a range of 5 sizes. Now, you might notice that these are a bit rough. There's a lot of sort of flashing here as well, from the molds. I think that these keys are like, if you want to call them that, the tools are set into a mold. I imagine some kind of injection molding process. But yeah, it's not been, it's not very well done, let's put it that way. There's no, like this one, you can't even see the hole, so you put these on a key ring of some kind, but you'd have to sort of clean out these holes a little bit. In fact, I'm trying to push it out. That's actually really solidly in there. Yeah, so I'll push those out later, just sort of show you that these are not what you expect for a few pounds, right? But then they're not particularly well made, but they could work. They also come in this little lozenge shaped holder, which, to be fair, you've got to put some of them the other way around, but does actually hold these tools in. So there is that, not that you'd buy them for the case. But it does come with some kind of case, but I'd probably put these on a ring, a key ring of some kind. So what kind of locks do I have? Well, I'm not going to tax these too much. So I've gone for some relatively low security cross-key locks. Let's face it, most of them are. We got the got to get it open to the right position as well. There we go. So I'm going to start with this clear plastic lock. These have quite rounded pins. If anything's going to pick this lock, or if these are going to pick any lock, they'd probably pick this lock. I've got this to show you the range of sizes. Look at this teeny tiny little cross key cam lock here. Isn't that the cutest? And this is actually very hard to pick using standard picks, because trying to get a tension tool in and a pick and then pick the lock can be tricky. Going up the sizes a little bit, we've got a similar size, maybe in fact probably the same size core here as a padlock at Q&F Security. I do like these cross key padlocks. Rober, I think, do one as well. Matlock do one, because they're just kind of rare. It's a top padlock. There you go. Then we've got a slightly larger Chinese generic brand tells you that this is a lock, even though it's the actual key. But this shows you the notch on top, and that would go sort of in alignment with the thickest part of the key and keyway, or the widest part, depending which way you look at it. And just to top things off, an actually pretty decent lock, which is a Papays cross key mortise screw-in cylinder. And the reason I put this in here is that all of these are probably made in China. In fact, yeah, I'd bet good money that all of these are made in China. This one, whether it's made in China or not, is actually made for, oh no, it says made in Brazil. It's made by Papays in Brazil, 18 pins. It's a much higher security lock. So, hey, if it can rake this, then I think that'd be amazing. Now, I do own a trusty and trustworthy set of Chinese-made cross key rakes, and these are not jiggler keys. You don't use them like a key. You basically push this into the keyway, inject the tips, rake back and forth while turning, and you get an open. And these are really good, actually. These rake open a lot of cross key locks, and I don't even know the brand on these. I don't know if they're branded, but these are, oh, Goso. These ones I actually really like. Again, not a sponsor, but these are the ones I use. I really like them. But you'll notice that these are the keyways, which are 6mm, 6.5, and 7mm in diameter. So they would probably work quite well in something like this Papays, where it actually has quite a large, wide keyway. Let's have a look. Yep, the 7mm one, for example, goes in really nicely here. But the downside of these rakes is when you get things like this, these are just way too big. And, you know, clearly the smaller keyways do occur. Common enough for me to actually own a few of them. So whilst these are genuinely really good, maybe, just maybe, these jiggler keys work really well on the smaller and, frankly, mechanically more difficult to lock, to pick cross key locks that are smaller keyways. So yeah, let's go do some demos and see if we can get any of them open. So we have the clear plastic lock inside the vise, and this opens up quite well. The bitting is quite up and down, so this will be a challenge I think for most rakes, but we'll give it a go anyway, starting with the smallest and working way up, maybe not to the very largest, but we'll see. I'll get these, I think these 4 will probably do. Pop this in, give it a mild turn. You don't want to put too much torque on here, and once it sort of stiffens up, you want to just keep going, and oh yeah, we got it. Can you see that? We've turned it a quarter of the way. We can see the tops of the pins here. So yeah, that does work. It's a bit stiff, so it's possible I've got a driver pin or a key pin caught somewhere where it shouldn't be, but it is turning. So turn it back, and there we go. So I guess it does work. I mean, these aren't great locks. Let's try on a real lock. So we've got the little cam lock in here now. So that's locked up. We need to open it clockwise. So we'll need a very small one of these, and I think the 2 smallest are these 2. And they're probably the only ones which can fit in. So can I get them in? Yeah. So again, just going to rake and jiggle. Oh yeah, we've already got a quarter turn open. So again, that shows that these do actually work. Look, you can see that this is moving freely. If I go back to a position, then what will happen is that the it'll probably set, and then we'll need to, yeah, so it will stop at some point. They need to sort of jiggle it to get it back. But yeah, it does actually work, so there is that. All right, another normally tricky to pick lock, which is the padlock version. Probably the same core, maybe even made in the same factory. Oh, and it opens up very nicely. Okay, let's see if we can open that one up with a, well, again, one of these smaller jigglers. Got to give enough torque that you're getting binding pins. That wasn't working at all. Let me try a different one. Oh, wow, that was so cool. We got the open, look. So these are not well-made locks, but hey, it's a lot easier to do this than it is to you know, tried to tension this and pick it. Okay, let's go for something a bit bigger, a bit more meaty. Maybe not a challenge, but certainly a bigger core. Let's try this one. Yep, works smoothly. Okay, so it's a slightly bigger key, so let's try... Should we try the slightly bigger ones? Let's see what happens. Wow, this is really eating the lock. I can see lots of shavings coming out of this, so I wouldn't use this on anything you like. No, that's not really working. Wow, look at that dust. Let's try this bigger one. Will that even fit? It does, okay. Oh, it's catching a lot though. Oh, I do not like that. It's stuck. Wow. I hope that comes out. Yeah, no wonder it's sort of canyoning. This is not cut nicely. I'll give it a quarter turn and try a different side. Come on. Oh, I can see the amount of camera shake. I'm really trying here, but not getting anywhere. Oh, you got to come out. Okay, right. I'm going to try a slightly smaller one. Maybe that'll work. A bit more gentle as well to it. We are struggling with this. I thought I'd get this one with three out of three. Then this one is. Look at the dust. Can you see that on my thumb? Wow. I could try a smaller one again. I'm just looking at the sort of the key itself, and that does seem to be about the right one. I think these other ones will be a bit small, truthfully, and that's going to be too big. These two are definitely too small. You know, they'll I'll try it, but you know, I think that's just going to not work. Might give us more room for jiggling. No, what's happening is that these are compressing in the middle of the lock. So this would be the one, I think, if it did work. So one last try, then we can say what we've tried. I mean, I'm going to spend hours on it, am I? No, not getting anywhere. Just as a point of comparison, let's try one of these Goso picks. So just pop that in. We'll inject the tips into there. We'll basically hold this like that, and we'll rake. Oh, we're already open. Look, actually already open. That was so quick. So these jiggler keys for this lock are just not working, because that didn't take long at all to open, did it? I'll give it one more last go because it showed that it can be raked, although this is literally eating the pins on the inside. No, doesn't like this. Alright, last but not least, this big boy Pape's lock. It works in the vise. Okay, we'll leave it there, and we have to use the biggest one. I don't think we've used it yet. Or have we? No, we have, I think. It's this one, and that's the biggest one we've got. So if this opens, I'll be so impressed, because I can't see it happening. This is a much better made lock. It really is. It's got 18 pins in it, but it doesn't mean it can't be opened. So we'll rake and we'll jiggle, put that clockwise torque on here. It's not even budging. I mean, the key is chunky as well, but it does work. And what's interesting is that there's no bitting on the underside, so only looking at 3 sides on this. Unfortunately, our other tools are just too small. This is clearly the biggest one, maybe then this one. So I'll try both these ones, but yeah, I don't hold out much hope. It'd be amazing if it opened though. Generally, I'd be so impressed. When I tried off camera, I didn't get it earlier, just so you know. So yeah, this isn't working for me, and I didn't get it earlier in my trials. And I did try it for a good 5 minutes off camera before I started filming. So I would expect this to actually work if it was going to work. Lots of jiggling back and forth, using the tip, which is a bit more springy sometimes, just up and down, left and right. You've got to go around in circles, anything, but no, that's not happening. I think I might have to pick this manually on another video. So that's a shame. Cross key jigglers. I mean, I can see a use cases. So it's actually brass dust all over my work surface here, right? But there is a use case, I think, for these. So if you have these really small cross key locks and you're struggling to pick them because getting a tension tool in and a pick and picking these can be tricky, these actually work really well. Like these are actually, these couple of picks here, the smaller ones, work really well on these because, you know, let's face it, they're not going to be great locks, but they are tricky to access to pick. So yeah, for a couple of pounds, if you have this type of lock, why not? If you've got anything just a little bit more meaty, you may struggle. I'm not saying they won't work. There's going to definitely be a bitting on some of these locks, which is just perfect for these to rake. Absolutely guaranteed. They will work probably on most cross keys with the right bitting. But for these bigger locks, I've found that these types of picks are far, far, far more reliable. And again, you can shop around, get the right brand that you want, whatever. But these, I don't know, I haven't had much luck, even off camera, in picking slightly better locks. That being said, the fact that you can actually even rake these smaller locks makes them a bit of a niche use case, but it's a use case which actually may have its niche, if that makes any sense to you whatsoever. So would I recommend you buy these? Well, probably not, even as a hobbyist, even for a couple of pounds. But if you do have some of these locks and you want to explore them, why not? You're not going to waste too much money doing so. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about these in the comments. Do you have success with these? Do you own some of these? Do you recommend them to lock pickers, professional or hobbyists or otherwise? Let me know in the comments below. I do read them all and I try to reply to as many as I can. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, please hit that like. Subscribe if you feel I deserve it. Hit the notification bell. It all really helps my channel out and I really appreciate it a lot. Otherwise, stay safe, happy picking, and I'll see you all next time.